Chapter 6. Dead of Night. "What are you doing out there in the dead of night?" demanded a voice. Alfred was lying on the floor of the palace library with a figure looming over him. He knew that voice better than his own. "Nanny?" "Shh!" she shushed. "It is you. Yes, I know it's me. You know it's me, but we don't need the whole wide world knowing it's about it." "But what are you doing here?" asked the boy, scrambling to his feet. "I asked first," replied Nanny. This lady must have had a name, but everyone called her Nanny. The plump and cheery old girl was in her 80s. She was so old that she'd been alive when there was still sunlight over Britain, before the darkness came. Nanny had looked after 2 generations of royal children, the prince and his father, the king. As a result, she was one of the most trusted members of the royal household. Needless to say, Nanny was the person you would least expect to see up to no good in the dead of night. "Well," began Alfred, "I was looking for something." "What?" "I don't know." "How can you look for something when you don't know what you're looking for?" "That's a good question," he replied. "I'll think I'll know when I find it. Now, what are you doing here?" "Just browsing." "Browsing?" "I'm looking for a book." "What book?" Nanny quickly changed the subject. "Look at you! You'll catch your death. A sickly child like you abseiling down Buckingham Palace, dressed only in your pyjamas. You must have gone bananas. Now, come here, my little prince." The lady drew the boy close and gave him a big hug. Instantly, she could feel how cold he was. Alfred looked over her shoulder and saw the Book of Albion was not in its usual place in the cabinet. Instead, it was on a pile of books on a small table. He thought that was strange, but said nothing. "Oh, you're frozen solid," continued Nanny. "We'll have to put you straight in a steaming hot bath. Now, come on." "No," replied the prince. "What do you mean, no? I haven't come this far to be put in the bath." "Shower?" "No." "Sink?" "No." "Bidet?" Now I'm going to tell you what a bidet is. If you don't know what a bidet is, ask someone French or someone with a really stinky bottom. Or better still, someone French with a really stinky bottom. Oh no, that's really funny. If you go into continental countries, they normally have a bidet sitting right next to the toilet. And it kind of looks like a toilet, but it's got, well, you're going to have to ask someone what it is. Okay? And then have a look at a picture, because there'll be pictures on Google. "No," barked the boy. "Why on earth would I need a bidet at this moment in time?" "I'm looking for an answer," stated Alfred. "An answer to what?" asked Nanny. "To why my mother was taken to the tower." Nanny shook her head and tutted. "Ooh, yes, I heard your poor mother being dragged away. Shouting and screaming she was. I tried to stop the guards." "You did?" "Oh, yes, and I gave them a piece of my mind, and no mistake. Even jumped on the back of one." "What happened?" The old lady shook her head sorrowfully. "I was no match for them. Must have been 6 of them taking her off. They threw me to the floor." "Black and blue I am," she said. "Oh, no, Nanny, are you all right?" "But Nanny's a tough old bird. I will survive." She smiled, showing off her false teeth that went clickety-clack whenever she spoke. "Do you believe Mama could really be a traitor?" Nanny sighed heavily. "It seems far-fetched, but you never know. Sometimes the enemy is closer than you think." This sent shivers down the boy's spine. "What do you mean?" he asked. "I mean, maybe, just maybe, it's true." Alfred felt sick at the thought. Mama? A traitor? "Now, come on, my little prince. You're not a well boy. You need to get straight to bed and double helpings of Nanny's special eggy wig in the morning." Alfred gulped. He didn't much like Nanny's special eggy wig. Even though he'd been given them every single day of his life, he didn't have the heart to tell her. There were no fresh eggs in the palace, or indeed anywhere anymore. So these scrambled eggy wigs were made of powdered egg. They tasted funny. Funny peculiar. Not funny ha-ha. "I'm not going to bed," announced the boy, before yawning. The events of the night had left him absolutely shattered, but he was determined to fight on. "Yes, you are. Straight to bed, young man, and no arguing, but..." Suddenly, Nanny stood very still. A noise had distracted her. She brought her finger up to her lips to silence him. Then, with her eyes, she indicated the door at the far end of the library. Alfred tiptoed over to it and then bent to peer through the keyhole. Nanny was right. There was someone or something out there. He put his little eye up to the keyhole and found a giant eye staring back at him. "Oh!" the boy gasped. "Shh!" shushed Nanny as quietly as she could. The all-seeing eye was hovering outside the door. Alfred felt a wave of fear crash over him. He didn't move, and eventually the eye hovered off down the long corridor. Alfred waited until it was a safe distance away before tiptoeing past the shelves and shelves of books back to Nanny. "Who was it?" she whispered. "It was the eye," he whispered back. "Oh, I can't bear that great big nosy beach ball. I once caught it spying on me when I was in the lavvy. Dirty blighter, did it see you?" "I don't know," said the boy with a gulp. "Well, did it or didn't it?" she pressed, clearly concerned. "I don't know. Maybe." "Maybe," she fretted. "Then maybe we will both be sent to the tower. We need to get out of here, and fast." "Should I go back the way I came in?" "The window? No, no, no," snapped Nanny. "You're lucky the guards didn't see you. Someone scaling the wall of the palace at night. You could have been blasted from here to Timbuktu." "Then how?" Just then they heard the handle on the door to the library turn. Click! Someone was about to march in. That's the end of the chapter. I'll see you soon. Bye.